Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to the overnight feed recaps for night number 73 inside the Big Brother house. A great Saturday to all of y'all. Hope y'all have a fantastic weekend. Let's talk about the live feeds. Let's talk about what's happening in the house. Now, first of all, if you'll recall, Thursday night all the way into Friday morning, we had a long drawn out HOH competition. It was BB Comics, first time that we've had that as an HOH instead of a veto competition. Took forever, but we eventually learned that the HOH was Jag. And not just any HOH. Jag is actually the invisible HOH. Well, kind of invisible. He could have been invisible if he chose to be, but not so much. Now, as an invisible HOH, no one is supposed to know what nominations he makes. He does everything in full secrecy, which theoretically means you can make huge moves without getting blood on your hands, unless you tell everyone that you're the HOH, and then the whole thing just kind of goes away. So far, Jag has told Matt, Bowie Jane, America, and Corey that he is HOH. Isn't that like half the house? Add in Jag. Who doesn't know? Blue, Felicia, and Suri. Yeah, so he's told a lot of people in the house. Now, when Jag told Matt fairly early after he'd won, and as I said yesterday, doesn't really bother me that much. You gotta have someone you trust. Telling Matt, not that big deal. Everyone else, maybe not so much. When Jag did eventually tell America and Corey that he had won, Matt was in there. Matt pretended to just find out also. That way, America and Corey didn't feel like they weren't being left out of information, that they were behind, that they weren't valid members of the group and all of that. So Matt pretended like he was hearing for the first time. I think they did something similar to Bowie Jane a little bit later when they told her as well, because later Jag told Bowie and let her think that she was finding out right after Matt and before Corey and America. So now Bowie Jane feels like she's a little closer to them than Corey and America. So they're trying to make this work to their advantage somewhat. What was funny is that Bowie Jane, when they told her, she said, don't tell America and Corey. If you do, they'll go right back and tell the others. It's not going to be a secret anymore if you tell America and Corey. But too late. Yeah, Jag had already told them as well. So lots of people know that the secret HOH is Jag, and we'll see if that comes back and bites them somewhere down the road. All right, we've got while that's going on, while some people are being told, we've got other people trying to figure out. We had Suri really leaning towards Jag having won the HOH because I guess she had asked Matt what his time was in the comp. Matt immediately told her. She'd asked Jag, and Jag either didn't tell her or him-hawed around a little bit. Because of that, she is suspicious that it could be Jag, and she has passed those suspicions on to Blue and Felicia. Now, Blue and Felicia and Suri don't know for certain. They've got their assumptions, but they don't know really for absolute certain if it's Jag yet. We'll see if that changes. All right, the rest of the morning was spent with those in the know, going over possible nomination options, pretending like they didn't know who the HOH was around the other people, and just playing the whole game and everything else. So we had a lot of that throughout the day. We did have a couple of quick conversations, then we'll talk about the nominations and all the overnight stuff. Blue had to talk to the cameras, where she said that she had more trust in Matt and Jag than she does in America and Corey. Well, maybe we ought to talk about that a little bit. Also, she was hoping that Matt and Jag and America and Corey would go after each other instead of anyone going after Blue herself. Well, that didn't quite maybe work quite the way she's thinking either. But she is hoping that they go after each other, and that she's kind of hitching herself up to Matt and Jag as opposed to Corey and America. Meanwhile, we've got Corey informing Matt and America and Bowie about Suri's experience on the reality show Traitors, how she did on the show. And I know if you haven't seen Traitors, take a look. It's pretty good. I don't want to do any spoilers or anything, but Corey did tell the others about Suri being on that show, and then she did okay. And so it seems like a little bit of a subtle reminder that Suri could be a threat in this house. Corey's kind of planting the seeds for going forward about who could be dangerous, that may be flying just a little under the radar right now. I tell you, Suri's playing a masterful social game that she is still under the radar to a large extent. All right, we did finally have the nominations yesterday. Nominations took place. Feeds were down for a while. Feeds returned about 4 o'clock or so, Big Brother time. And we learned that this week's nominations, courtesy of Jag's picks, are Blue and Felicia. Yep, the two of them are on the block. As I mentioned yesterday, it does seem like Blue is going to be the target this week. He has gone ahead and put up Blue and Felicia. There was talk about trying to backdoor Blue and all that. Why do all that? There's not that many people left. Just put them out there, and that's what he's done. So Blue and Felicia are the noms for right now. Felicia, let's just say she's not real happy at all that she is on the block. She mentioned at one point that this is her 5th time to be nominated. She's now tied with Cameron, which means unless she makes it to the final 2 seats, she's probably going to have the record this season for the most nominations going on the block. Felicia's not happy. She's telling everyone to listen to her that this is a waste of the superpower. Why in the world would you go after me when you had a chance to make a big move? This just makes 0 sense. You're not the only one saying that, Felicia. So she's complaining about that a little bit. Blue also not real happy that she's on the block. She's a little upset. Remember, she was really hoping, as I just said a second ago, she was really hoping that it was going to be America and Corey versus Matt and Jag, and that if any of those 4 had the HOH, they'd go after the other ones. And so Blue's not happy at all. In fact, Blue at one point is talking to Matt, and she says, "Look, as a couple. Blue's up says, well." Matt's continuing to deny that he's the HOH, which he isn't, but he's also playing dumb about who could be the HOH and acting like he really doesn't know. But he does also imply a little bit to Blue that it could have been Corey in America. He says something to her like, I'm not it. And Jag, I just don't see Jag putting you up, Blue. So, you decide who else out there it could be. So he's kind of throwing Corey in America under the bus very subtly by saying it's not him and playing dumb about Jag as well. Blue at one point asked Matt, she says, I'm going to just ask you once because I trust you, Matt. I'm not going to ask over and over, but I am going to ask you once. Was Cameron, what Cameron told me true? That you and Jag want me out and that y'all are gunning for me? Because Cameron told me that. Is that true? And Matt says, no, it's not true. He says Cameron is trying to pit everyone against each other. It's not true. And he then proceeds to tell her all kinds of stuff that Cameron supposedly said about her to them. So he's trying to deny all of that. And no, of course not. We're not coming for you, Blue. Why would we be coming after you? If Cameron told her that, and she has enough suspicions to ask Matt that, and now she's on the block, could you put 2 and 2 together and think that maybe Cameron was telling the truth? Maybe she will. Maybe she already knows it. She's just not vocalizing it to Matt. But she did ask him the question. And she is feeling a little bit okay because she figures that she has Jag and Matt and Sari that would all vote to keep her. And you only need 3 votes this week to stay. So she's hoping as long as she's got those 3 votes, even if she is on the block, then hopefully it's not the end of the world. We'll see how that works out. Jag won't be voting since he's HOH. Matt, maybe not quite as loyal as you think he is, Blue. All right, we've got Felicia talking to Blue just a little bit later, telling Blue that she thinks the HOH could be Corey or America. It's possible, but her gut is just saying it's got to be Jag. That's really the direction she's leaning. I got to say, Felicia hadn't played a perfect game. There's a lot of things that she's got to be a bitter juror. There's a lot of things about Felicia's game I don't really like, but she's had some pretty good reads in this house. And she's saying right at this point that she thinks that, yeah, it could be Corey America, but I really think it's going to be Jag. But then just a few minutes later, as they continue to talk, they managed to convince themselves that no, Jag wouldn't do those kind of votes. It's got to be Corey who's the HOH. And they've finally just said it's got to be Corey who's leading this whole thing. So they've decided on that. Now, Sari joins just a little bit later. They're talking, they're hoping that there's a backdoor plan in play and that Felicia and Blue are just pawns, that maybe if Corey is the HOH, maybe Matt and Jag would go up. And that Felicia and Blue would both be safe. And so that's their hope, that there's some kind of backdoor, that there truly is a big move afoot that just didn't happen with the nominations themselves. Blue is warning Sari and Felicia, saying, look, just so you know, Bowie is a snake. She said she's bringing info back to America and Corey. She says, I'm kind of in with Matt and Jag, working with them, but just so you know, Bowie thinks she's working with that group as well, and she's getting information that she's taking back to American Corey. So she's kind of a snake, a mole. Just be warned, anything you tell to her is going to go back to the other side. All right, now a little bit of a change from the normal week. The backyard is open. Yeah, the backyard is never open right after a HOH competition, after a nomination ceremony. It's open, which tells me that the veto competition today will not be held in the backyard. It's going to be held in the alternate location where they occasionally have veto comps, which means it's an indoor competition theoretically, or I suppose it could be back where they had the nether regions. Haven't said that in a while. The nether competition in front of those houses. Do you remember that? Where's Jared and Hassam? This seems like so long ago. They could have a veto competition there, or it could be in that alternate location, which is the indoor location. Don't know exactly what kind of comp it'll be yet, but we'll find out later today. But they do have the backyard, so everyone's enjoying a little backyard time, as they should. All right, we've got Corey and Jag talking a little bit. Corey is saying that Felicia keeps asking him how he expects to beat Matt and Jag in the end. She's using that as her vehicle to try to turn Corey against Matt and Jag. And I get why Corey's saying that. I truly do. But I think I'd be a little careful if I was Corey vocalizing that too much, because the more Corey says that, the more Matt and Jag, who he's talking to, the more, if I'm Jag, the more I'm going to be thinking that he's saying that. Could he be thinking that as well? Can I trust Corey too much longer if he is thinking about Matt and I going to the end and all that? So you gotta be careful of that, Corey. But yeah, he's saying, Felicia keeps saying there's no way I'm going to beat the two of y'all, so why would I stick with y'all to the end? But Corey tells Jag, says, but here's the thing, I'm perfectly happy realizing it could be a 50-50 shot at the end. It's going to be me and America and you and Matt. The four of us are the final four left, and whatever happens then, happens then. I'm fine with that. Jag says, yeah, I am too. You can't handle everything. That sounds good to me. All right, so we've got that. We've got Felicia playing detective a little bit. She's still trying to get some kind of confirmation about who this HOH could be. So she comes up to Corey and just says, okay, is the target me or Blue? And Corey says, well, I'm not the HOH. And Felicia responds, that's not the question I asked you, Corey. Why are you bringing that up? And Corey says, well, I don't know who the target is. But Felicia's feeling like she's trying to get Corey. It seemed like she was trying to get Corey caught in some kind of a trap, and Corey's not falling for it. Jag is there. Jag saying, I don't know who the HOH is either, or who the target is. We don't have a clue, Felicia. So they have that. And then Felicia saying, well, I just want to know if there's maybe a backdoor plan in place. And they're both saying, I don't know, Felicia. Eventually, she starts complaining again that this is a waste of a superpower. Otherwise, if there's a backdoor, then yeah, okay. But if there isn't, what a waste for whoever is the invisible HOH. So she goes off after that, and Corey and Jag are both saying, why would she approach us like that? That's just Felicia. So yeah, Felicia's still trying to find out. Blue is alone to the camera for just a little bit, kind of throwing Bowie Jane under the bus, talk about Bowie Jane, saying that she's a mole, and that Corey and America have got to be HOH. She's just convinced at this point it's Corey America. They've got to be the ones that put her on the block. Well, of course, Blue does not like Corey. She's going to immediately assume that he's the one that put her up. Blue is talking to Matt and Jag, saying that the only person who had mentioned the possibility of a Felicia Blue nomination that she heard before the nominations took place was Corey. And she said, oh, how coincidental that Corey just happened to mention that it could be Blue and that could be me and Felicia. And here you go. So again, she's finding reasons. She wants it to be Corey that's the invisible HOH. So she's looking for reasons to justify why it would be him. All right, we've got Blue and Felicia talking to each other, kind of lamenting that they're both on the block together. Blue is saying that she is tired of America and Corey weaseling their way to the top every single week and playing this game and not doing anything. And they're making it to the top in just a couple of weasels. She's saying that Corey and America won't put up Matt and Jag as a veto replacement. If, depending on what happens with the veto, If someone gets pulled off a little lock, she's saying Corey and America aren't going to put up Matt and Jag. So likely Bowie Jane would go up instead. And Blue says the beauty about that, Felicia, is if I pull myself off or I get pulled off and Bowie Jane goes up against you, we've got the votes to protect you. You aren't going anywhere. We'll make sure Bowie Jane goes home. So we should be good to go. Blue is also, though, suggesting that they don't really know what's going to happen with this veto today. And we don't really either. We've heard they'll see double. We're assuming maybe that could be a double veto, but we don't know either. But Blue is saying she really hopes that there's a veto twist in play that allows Felicia and Blue to both be safe so they both come off the block. Well, there is a possibility that could happen. All right, we've got Felicia and Cirie talking, comparing notes with each other. Felicia seems convinced that Jag is HOH. She's bouncing back and forth, right? It's Jag, it's Corey, it's Jag, it's Corey. Well, now she's thinking Jag. Felicia seems convinced that Jag's HOH, and she's pretty convinced as well that she and Blue aren't the targets, that Jag's planning a backdoor of Corey, and that's where this thing's all leading. Which we don't know what the veto is going to be like, but it could be an interesting veto ceremony on Monday if someone wins a veto, if Felicia thinks that that there's a backdoor plan in play, that she's getting ready to be pulled off or Blue's getting pulled off, and then nothing happens. Yeah, that may be a little interesting, a little fun to watch. Because she's pretty certain that there's a backdoor Corey getting ready to take place. She and Cirie are both talking about the fact that they just can't get Blue off this hate train towards Corey and America, that she is so preoccupied with Corey and being upset with him that she's not even willing to consider that Matt and Jag might be playing her, and that it truly could be Jag that's HOH instead. They just realize that she's not buying anything that doesn't involve blaming Corey at this point in time. They're talking about the coming war between Corey and America versus Matt and Jag. Sounds like a we're talking comics, so it sounds like a Avengers Endgame or something, right? The coming war, it's a coming. Yeah, Matt and Jag versus Corey and America. They see it happening. Cirie is saying it's not our war, but we need to make sure that we're there. Cirie is mentioning that Jag and Matt are buttering up Blue for the kill. They really think that she could be the target this week. Backdoor, great, but they're thinking that Blue could be the target. Good read. They're wondering who Jag and Matt would target next week. If it is Blue, if Blue does go home, one of them wins HOH next week, who could it be at that point? And they're actually thinking that they should still probably be safe. They've envisioned a scenario where maybe they would throw the next week's HOH competition to Bowie Jane, let Bowie Jane take out Corey. And so again, Felicia and Cirie live to fight yet another week. I can see it happening. I truly can. So they're talking about that. Matt still denying any knowledge of the HOH to Cirie. I think that's smart. You can't reveal your secret, no matter how much Cirie thinks it may be Jag. I think you still have to keep your secret. But is Matt doing some damage by not telling Cirie at this point in time? I think he can do damage control if it eventually comes out, and it will, that Jag was the invisible HOH. I think Matt can say, look, I made a promise. I'm loyal to you. I'm loyal to him. I couldn't do anything about it. And Matt will say, I knew you were 100% safe. There was zero chance anything was going to happen to you, so I just kept it safe. I think he'll be okay, but he is still denying to her that he knows anything about who is the HOH at this point in time. He does suggest, though, that it maybe could be America. Maybe it's not Corey, but could be America, Cirie. Have you thought about that as well? And then finally, we've got Corey and America and Cirie I think they're in the comic room, just laying on the bed, just talking about early part of the season, who was aligned with who. Corey was so tight with Cameron, and talking about Kirsten, and Cirie going after Kirsten. Nothing to do with current game, current strategy, just reminiscing as you tend to do as you get later into the season. And with that, lights out at 12:30 or so Big Brother time. So a fairly early evening as everyone's getting ready for the veto competition. We'll have that today. I'm really excited to find out what it's going to be, find out who wins it, how it affects going forward. I'm a little curious to see what's going to happen now that Jag has told half the house that he is the HOH. Come on, Jag, that's not the way you play superhero. But Batman doesn't tell everyone. Superman doesn't tell everyone. Why'd you tell everyone that you're the HOH? I feel like he kind of just threw away some of his powers when he did that. But hey, we'll see if there are repercussions or not. But again, veto competition today. I'll be back tomorrow morning to give you all the results, the repercussions, the new discussions that'll take place involving that. It'd be interesting if Blue finds out that Jag's the one that put her on the block. We could see some interesting little blow-ups on that as well. All right, guys, you have a great Saturday. Aggies are playing today. Gig 'em Aggies. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow morning. Until then, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.